From Brazil to Mexico, from Cuba to Colombia, Africa lives in the heart of Latin America. Its music, food, language, religion, and resistance movements were forged through centuries of forced migration and survival. This is the entire history of the African presence in Latin America, in just 3 minutes. The story begins in the late 1400s, when European empires colonized the Americas. Indigenous populations were devastated by disease and violence. To replace enslaved labor, Europeans turned to Africa. Between the 1500s and 1800s, over 6 million Africans were forcibly transported to Latin America through the transatlantic slave trade, more than to any other region in the Americas. The largest destination was Brazil, followed by the Caribbean coast of South America, Central America, and parts of Mexico and Peru. These Africans came from diverse cultures: Yoruba, Congo, Akan, Mande, and many others. Though enslavers attempted to erase their identities, African culture endured. Enslaved Africans preserved language, rhythm, spirituality, and memory, adapting them to new realities. Across Latin America, African traditions blended with indigenous and European influences. African religions survived through syncretism, giving rise to practices like candomblé in Brazil, Santeria in Cuba, Palo in the Caribbean, and Vodun in parts of Central America. Music born from African rhythm became the foundation of samba, rumba, salsa, son, cumbia, and reggaeton. Resistance was constant. Africans rebelled on plantations, sabotaged colonial economies, and escaped to form independent communities known as Maroons or Quilombos. One of the most powerful was Quilombo dos Palmares in Brazil, a free African state that resisted Portuguese rule for nearly a century. Africans and their descendants also played key roles in independence movements. Black soldiers, sailors, and revolutionaries fought against Spanish and Portuguese empires across Latin America. In many regions, freedom came only after centuries of struggle. By the late 1800s, slavery was abolished, Brazil being the last in 1888. But freedom did not bring equality. Afro-Latin Americans faced racial hierarchies, land exclusion, and cultural erasure. Many nations promoted whitening policies that minimized African identity. Despite this, African heritage never disappeared. Today, Afro-Latin Americans shape politics, art, sports, and global culture. From Brazilian capoeira to Colombian Afro-Pacific music, from Cuban jazz to Caribbean-influenced hip-hop, African legacy remains central to Latin American identity.